The rain hammered the cracked asphalt like it was trying to drown out the screams echoing from the brownstone's open window. "You're not my son anymore, Joseph. Get the hell out before they see you like this." Dad's voice cracked like thunder. His face twisted in a mask of shame and fury I'd never seen before. I stood there in the doorway, soaked to the bone, clutching the faded photo of Mom that he'd just tried to rip from my hands, my heart splintering as the word faggot hung unspoken in the air between us. I remember the exact moment it all shattered, that humid August evening in Brooklyn, when the city hummed with the oblivious buzz of life outside our crumbling family fortress. The brownstone on Dean Street had been Mom's pride, Victorian bones with fresh paint she'd slathered on every summer until cancer clawed it away 5 years back. Dad had let it rot since, just like he'd let himself rot, drowning in cheap whiskey and grief that turned him into a ghost haunting his own home. I'd been holding the fort, 22 and fresh out of community college with a barista gig that barely covered the electric bill, scraping by on dreams of graphic design school that felt as distant as the stars over the East River. That's when she appeared, Lydia, with her peroxide waves and southern drawl that dripped honey over everything, even the lies. Dad met her at some AA meeting in Queens, or so he claimed, but I knew better. He'd been slipping out for walks for months, coming home reeking of perfume and regret. She swept in like a tornado in pearls, all smiles and casseroles, promising to fix us. Fix him, maybe. Me? I was the loose thread she wanted snipped. Started small. Dinners where she'd coo over my artistic hands, while eyeing my sketchbook like it was contraband. Then the questions. "Joseph, honey, you got a girl yet? A nice Catholic one, like your mama wanted." I'd mumble something about focusing on work, but her eyes narrowed, sharp as the switchblade Dad kept in his sock drawer. He ate it up, though, laughed at her jokes, touched her arm like she was the elixir to his poison. For the first time since Mom, he looked alive. I should have been happy. But happiness in our house had always come at a cost. 2 months in, the sneaking began. I'd wake to whispers in the kitchen at 3 a.m., Lydia's voice low and insistent. "Mark, we can't keep this up. My boy's coming soon. Ryan needs a father figure, not this mess, Ryan. Her son from some failed marriage down in Savannah. 19, she said. A good boy. Plays football. Straight as an arrow." The words landed like punches, each one bruising deeper. Dad promised he'd handle it, his voice muffled through the floorboards. Handle me, I guessed. Like I was baggage to be stowed in the attic. The first time I met Ryan, it was an ambush. Dad called me home early from my shift at the coffee shop, voice gruff over the phone. "Family meeting, Joe. Be here by 6. I showed up with a 6-pack of his favorite IPA, hoping for a truce, maybe even a real talk about Mom's birthday coming up. Instead, the living room smelled like pot roast and fresh flowers, Lydia's touch. And there he was, sprawled on the sagging couch like he owned it, all broad shoulders and easy grin, blonde hair tousled from the Long Island Expressway drive. "Joseph, meet Ryan." Lydia beamed, her arm looped through Dad's like they were prom royalty. Ryan stood, towering at 6'2", extending a hand that swallowed mine whole. His grip was firm, calloused from cleats and weights, but his eyes, God, those hazel eyes, held something softer, a flicker of curiosity that made my stomach twist. "Heard a lot about you, man," he said, voice low with that Georgia lilt, like warm bourbon. "Mom says you're the artist type." Cool. I forced a smile. ignoring the way Dad shifted uncomfortably, his jaw tight. Yeah, well, stick around. Brooklyn's got more street art than galleries. We shook, and for a split second, the room felt electric, like the air before a storm. Lydia clapped her hands. Dinner's ready. Let's eat like a family. That night, over meatloaf that tasted like sawdust, the cracks widened. Dad announced the engagement. Rings exchanged in secret at City Hall 2 weeks prior. We're making it official, he said, avoiding my eyes. Lydia's family was visiting for the weekend, Ryan included, to blend things, blend us, like we were ingredients in her perfect pot. I choked down congratulations, my fork scraping the plate too loud. Ryan shot me glances across the table, his foot accidentally maybe brushing mine under the cloth. Or was it? Heat flushed my cheeks, and I excused myself early, claiming a headache. In my room, sketchpad open, I drew him without thinking. Those eyes, that jawline shadowed with stubble, a football tucked under one arm like a shield. It was reckless, stupid. But in the quiet, with Dad's snores rumbling through the walls, felt like breathing. The next morning, Lydia cornered me in the hallway, her robe tied loose, voice a saccharine hiss. Joseph, darlin', I know this is hard. Your daddy's been alone too long. But families evolve. You understand. Her hand on my arm felt like ice. Ryan's excited to have a brother. Y'all could be close. Brother. The word soured in my mouth. Sure, I muttered, slipping away to the fire escape for air. That's where Ryan found me, nursing a cigarette I bummed from the bodega downstairs. He leaned against the railing, lighting his own, the flame dancing in his eyes. Rough night? He asked, exhaling smoke that curled like secrets. You have no idea. I laughed bitterly, staring at the alley cats yowling below. Dad's not big on changes. He nodded, slow, like he was piecing me together. Mom's a force. Pushed me out the closet before I even knew what it meant. The words hung there, casual as the weather, but they hit like lightning. He was out. Gay. Here, in my house, invading my space. I turned, heart pounding. Wait, you're gay as a picnic basket, he grinned, but it didn't reach his eyes. Kicked out at 17. Mom said it was God's test, then shipped me to conversion camp. Lasted a week before I hitchhiked back. She's better now, sorta. Thinks marrying your dad fixes everything. I stared, the cigarette burning down to ash between my fingers. Dad doesn't know about me. Thinks I'm just delayed. Like queerness was a late bloomer. Ryan's laugh was soft, sad. Welcome to the club, brother. He bumped my shoulder, and the touch lingered, warm against the chill morning. For the first time in years, I didn't feel alone in that brownstone. But as we talked about shitty exes, hidden apps, the thrill of anonymous hookups in Prospect Park, dread coiled in my gut. This wasn't just a visit. Lydia's whispers echoed. They were here to stay. By evening, the plan unraveled. Dad pulled me into the den after Lydia and Ryan stepped out for groceries, his face flushed from a hidden flask. Joe, listen. Lydia's got ideas. Big ones. We're selling this place. Too many ghosts. Move in to her spot in Jersey. Fresh start. Room for Ryan, her folks. You can crash on the couch till you figure shit out. like I was a stray dog. Dad, this is Mom's house. Our house. He waved it off, eyes glassy. Your mother's gone. Boy. Time to move on. Lydia says you need space. Maybe room with that queer friend of yours. Eli. Whatever. Just don't make waves. Queer friend. He'd overheard me once, on the phone, laughing about a grinder date gone wrong. Waves. The word ignited something feral. You mean don't be me? Don't embarrass your new perfect family. His slap came fast, a backhand that stung more from shock than pain. Watch your mouth. I raised you better than this. This weakness. Weakness. I tasted blood, metallic and sharp. Stumbled back, the photo of Mom tumbling from the shelf. That's when Lydia walked in, arms laden with bags, Ryan trailing with wide eyes. Mark? What's? Nothing, Dad barked, straightening his shirt. Joe's just overtired, but Ryan saw. His gaze locked on mine, fury flashing like a warning flare. Later, on the fire escape again, he pressed a cold pack to my cheek, his fingers gentle. He hit you. For what? I shrugged, throat tight. For existing, I guess. Fuck that. Ryan's voice was steel wrapped in silk. He leaned closer, breath mingling with mine, the city lights blurring below. You're not weak, Joseph. You're fire. And then, soft as sin, his lips brushed my temple. Not a kiss, but a promise. Heat bloomed in my chest, dangerous and alive. That night, as thunder rolled in from the harbor, I lay awake listening to the house settle. Lydia's laughter floated from the master bedroom, Dad's grunts of contentment. Ryan's room was next to mine, the wall thin as paper. I heard him shifting, restless, and wondered if he felt it too, the pull, the forbidden spark in a house built on secrets. Little did I know, the real storm was just brewing. The days blurred into a tense standoff, the brownstone transforming under Lydia's siege. She hung floral curtains that clashed with Mom's faded blues, stocked the fridge with kale smoothies and quinoa, and worst of all, invited her Bible study group for house blessings. I'd hide in my room, headphones blasting the Nationals' brooding anthems, sketching feverishly to drown out the chants of amen drifting up the stairs. Ryan became my anchor, slipping notes under my door, doodles of us as superheroes, capes fluttering over the Brooklyn Bridge, or quotes from Whitman. We were together. I forget the rest. He was a whirlwind, that boy equal parts southern charm and quiet rebellion. Mornings, we'd sneak coffee from the corner deli, black and bitter, perched on the stoop watching Hasidic kids chase pigeons. He'd talk football dreams deferred by a knee injury, how Savannah's humid nights hid his first fumbling kisses behind the bleachers. Thought I was broken, he'd say, kicking at a soda can. Till I realized the world's the one that's cracked. I'd share scraps of my own buried life. The hookups in dimly lit bars off Atlantic Avenue, the terror of Dad finding my browser history. He loved Mom fierce, I'd whisper, guilt twisting like a knife. But grief turned him mean. Thinks queerness is why she left, some cosmic punishment. Ryan's hand would find mine then, thumb tracing circles on my knuckles. Bullshit. You're the best thing he ever made. Those touches escalated. Innocent at first shoulder bumps, lingering hugs, but by week's end, they ignited. One afternoon, rain lashing the windows, we holed up in the basement, sorting Mom's old vinyls amid dusty boxes. Dusty Springfield crooned, son of a preacher man, and Ryan pulled me close, bodies swaying in the dim bulb's glow. "Your trouble," I murmured, forehead against his, heart hammering. "Only the good kind," he replied, and then we were kissing, slow, exploratory, like mapping uncharted waters. His lips tasted of peppermint gum and possibility, hands roaming with a reverence that made me shiver. We tumbled onto the old futon, clothes shedding like inhibitions, the world narrowing to gasps and whispers. It was messy, real, nails scraping backs, laughter bubbling between moans. For those stolen hours, the house's shadows receded. But reality crashed back that evening. Dad burst into the kitchen, face ashen, Lydia trailing with a manila envelope clutched like a talisman. "Family talk," he growled, slamming it on the table. Inside, real estate listings for Jersey McMansions, complete with bonus rooms for extended family. Lydia's brother and his wife. More arrivals. More invasion. "We're packing next month," Dad declared, eyes daring me to argue. "Lydia's kin are comin' up permanent. This place is sold, proceeds split fair. You get a check, Joe. Start over. Start over. At 22, with no degree, no savings? This is my home," I said, voice steady despite the quake inside. "Mom's will left it to us both. You can't just watch me." His finger jabbed the air. "You've been moochin' too long. Time to man up." Ryan, silent till then, leaned forward. "That's bullshit, Mark. Joseph's pulled this family through hell. You owe him." Dad's head snapped. "Stay out of it, boy. This ain't your circus." Lydia's hand on his arm, soothing. Now. Joseph's family too. We can work this. Maybe he rooms with Ryan at school? Ryan's startin' NYU in the fall. NYU. Ryan hadn't mentioned it. Transfer from community college. Architecture major. Hope flickered, but Dad snorted. "College boys. What? Sharing a dorm like some fairy tale?" The slur landed like shrapnel. Ryan stiffened. I froze. Lydia's eyes widened, feigning shock. "Mark," but Dad barreled on, whiskey breath hot. "Don't play innocent, Lydia. I know what your boy's into," heard the whispers. "And Joe. Christ, if that's the kind of man you want to be." He trailed off, disgust curling his lip. Ryan shoved back his chair, face thunderous. "You got a problem with us being gay? Say it plain." The room iced over. Dad's mouth worked, fish-like, before he spat. "This house is for family. Real family. Not deviations. Deviations." The word echoed Mom's old records, her voice crooning gospel hymns Dad now twisted into weapons. I stood, chair scraping. "Then I'm out. Keep your fresh start." Stormed upstairs, slamming my door. Ryan followed minutes later, slipping in like a shadow. "Joe, don't." Tears burned, hot and furious. "He's right. I'm the mess." Ryan cupped my face, fierce. "No." He's scared. Of losing control. But fuck him, we make our own family. We kissed again, desperate, bodies crashing like waves against the headboard. It was catharsis, release, Ryan's weight grounding me as sobs racked my frame. Afterward, tangled in sheets, he traced tattoos on my ribs. A compass rose Mom inked before she faded. "Points north," he murmured. "Wherever we go." But betrayal brewed deeper. That night, I overheard them, Dad and Lydia in the den, voices low. The boy's a liability, Dad slurred. If word gets out. The sale, the neighbors. Handle it, Lydia urged. Send him packin'. Ryan'll understand. Blood's thicker. Even diluted. Blood. Diluted. My veins ran cold. They were plotting my exile, painting me as the villain to justify their takeover. Ryan slept beside me, oblivious, his breath steady. I wanted to wake him, spill it all, but fear glued my tongue. What if he chose them? Blood over this fragile thing we'd sparked? Morning brought false normalcy. Lydia's kin arrived. Aunt Tilly with her perm and prayers, Uncle Bert with his realtor schmooze. They toured the house like conquerors, oohing over potential, ignoring me like furniture. Ryan stuck close, his presence a shield, but tension crackled. At lunch, Bert cornered Dad. Mark, the kid Joseph, he on board? Buyers ask about occupants. Dad's glance my way, cold. He's leavin'. Got plans. Plans. Lies. I gripped my fork till knuckles whitened. Ryan's foot nudged mine under the table, solidarity. But as plates cleared, Lydia pulled Ryan aside, whispers frantic. I caught fragments. Your future. Don't let him drag you down. Dad's word is law now. Drag you down. My stomach plummeted. Was this the betrayal? Poisoning him against me? That afternoon, alone in the attic amid Mom's trunks, I found it, the letter. Tucked in a hat box, yellowed envelope addressed to Dad in her looping script. For when I'm gone, it read. Inside, confessions of her own hidden pains, not just illness, but doubts about faith. About us. And a codicil, the house, undivided, to Joseph and Mark. So love holds the walls. Tears blurred the ink. This was leverage, proof he couldn't sell without me. But wielding it felt like war. Ryan found me there, curled among mothballs. What's that? I handed it over, voice raw. Truth. Mom's truth. He read, I softening. Joe, this changes. A crash below, voices rising. Dad bellowing, Lydia shrieking. We raced down, finding chaos. Bert on the floor, clutching his chest, face gray. Heart, Aunt Tilly wailed. Call 911. Ambulance wailed through the streets, neighbors gawking. Dad rode with them, face haunted. Lydia collapsed into Ryan's arms, sobbing. My brother's all I got left after. Ryan held her, but his eyes met mine over her shoulder. Apology, fear. As medics loaded Bert, she clung tighter. Stay with me, baby. We need you. We. Not us. The fracture widened, invisible but seismic. In the ER waiting room, fluorescent hell, Ryan sat beside me, hand in mine under the vinyl chairs. Lydia paced, praying rosaries. Hours ticked, stable, they said, minor episode. But as we drove back in silence, her gaze in the rear view burned into me. This family's cursed, she muttered. Ghosts and grudges. Dad slumped shotgun, didn't argue. At home, he poured a drink, eyes distant. Joe, maybe postpone the move. Till Bert's better. Postpone. Not cancel. I nodded, numb, clutching Mom's letter like a talisman. Ryan walked me to my room, kiss lingering at the threshold. We'll fight this, he vowed. But as his door clicked shut, doubt gnawed. Fight for what? A house? Or the boy who'd just become my world, teetering on the edge of his mother's pull? The rain returned that night, relentless, mirroring the storm inside. Sleep evaded, visions of eviction, of Ryan's hand slipping from mine. Little did I know, the deepest cut was yet to come. The heart scare bought us time, a fragile truce stitched with hospital jello and forced small talk. Bert stabilized, discharged with stents and stern warnings. Slow down, folks. Life's not a race. Irony dripped from every syllable, but no one laughed. Dad threw himself into repairs, patching the leaky roof, power washing the stoop like fixing the house could mend the rifts. Lydia hovered, her southern steel bending toward care, but her eyes still appraised me like a flaw in the facade. Ryan and I carved out pockets of rebellion. Mornings, we'd bolt for the subway, emerging in Manhattan's chaos where no one knew our names. Washington Square Park became sanctuary, him sketching archways, me doodling his profile against the arch. You're my muse, I tease, earning that lopsided grin that lit something feral in me. Afternoons bled into lover's haze, tangled in my bed while the house emptied, or stolen hours in his borrowed Jeep, parked in forgotten lots off the BQE. Sex with Ryan was revelation, tender one moment, urgent the next, bodies sinking like we'd always known the rhythm. I love you, he gasped once, post-climax, words slipping unbidden. I froze, heart seizing, then pulled him closer. Ditto, Georgia, love. Terrified me, this bloom in barren soil. But it fueled the fire. Evenings, we'd plot over takeout lo mein, legal aid for moms will, queer youth groups for backup housing. We leave together, Ryan insisted, chopsticks waving. NYU dorms or bust, yet shadows lengthened. Lydia's whispers grew bolder, confiding in Dad over tea. Ryan's confused. Mark. That city's poison. Temptations everywhere. Temptations. Code for me. Dad grunted agreement, his glances at dinner laced with suspicion. Boy's been smilin' too much lately. The betrayal simmered, bubbling over mid-September. I'd landed an interview, junior designer at a Flatiron agency. Real money, real shot. Elated, I texted Ryan. Drinks tonight? Celebrate? His reply can't. Family dinner. Mom's insisting. Family. Exclusion stung, but I shrugged it off, hitting a dive bar solo. Beers blurred the edges, till Eli, my old hookup buddy, all tattoos and sarcasm, slid onto the stool. Joey, lookin' wrecked. Dad's still on the warpath. We talked, laughed, his hand on my thigh a familiar spark. Harmless, right? Till my phone lit. Ryan, a string of missed calls. Voicemail. Where the fuck are you? Dad's losing it, said you bailed for some guy. Get home. Now. Home. The word mocked. Stumbled through the door at midnight, reeking of hops and guilt. The living room was a war zone, shattered lamp. Dad pacing like a caged bull. Lydia tear-streaked on the couch. Ryan stood apart, arms crossed, face unreadable. Slut, Dad spat as I entered. Eli. Huh? Eli from the park? I saw the texts. Boy. Miss your mouth. Real proud moment. My blood iced. Snooping. Invasion. That was ages ago. Before what? My new life. He loomed, breath sour. Lydia told me about you and Ryan. Caught you pawing each other in the basement like animals. Lydia. The snake in the garden. she'd seen, waited, weaponized. Ryan's eyes dropped. Guilt? Complicity? Dad? It's not. Ryan started, voice cracking. Shut it, Dad whirled. You think I want this? A house full of pervs? Lydia's right. We're selling. Tomorrow. Joseph's out. Ryan, you too if you don't wise up. The word echoed, final as a gavel. Lydia rose, hand on Dad's arm, crocodile tears flowing. Mark, honey, let's pray on it. The boys can change. Change. I laughed. Hollow. Like your camps? Or Dad's fists? Ryan stepped forward, voice steel. I'm gay, Mom. Joseph's gay. Deal with it or lose us both. Silence. Thick as fog. Lydia's face crumpled. Genuine this time? Baby. I thought it was a phase. For you. Not a phase, Ryan said softly. It's me. Dad deflated, sinking into the armchair, head in hands. Get out, Joe. Both of you. I can't. I won't watch this. Watch. Like we were his personal tragedy. I grabbed my jacket, keys jangling. Fine. Keep the ghosts. But Mom's house? Lawyer says no. Stormed out into the night, Ryan trailing. We drove, aimless, Jeep eating miles toward the Verrazano. Staten Island's quiet streets. Then the bridges span, city lights fracturing on black water. I'm sorry, he whispered, pulling over at a scenic overlook. She cornered me tonight. Said you'd ruin me. Begged me to spy, confirm the rumors. I refused. But Dad. He twisted it. Spy. The knife plunged deeper. You knew she suspected? Guessed. His hand trembled in mine. Thought I could protect you. Failed. We cried then, ugly and raw, foreheads pressed against the dash. What now? I choked. Together, he kissed me, salt-laced. Always. Dawn broke hazy, decisions crystallizing. Crash at Eli's temporary. Lawyer appointment Monday. But climax loomed, unspoken. Back home that afternoon, keys still mine. Technically, the house reeked of finality. Movers' boxes stacked like tombstones. Dad in the den, nursing coffee, Lydia absent. Visiting Bert, he muttered. Sit, he said, voice gravel. I did, Ryan hovering in the door. I fucked up. After your mom. Lost myself. Lydia seemed salvation. But she pushed. Said you were unstable, a risk to the sale. To Ryan's future, unstable. Risk. So you believed her? Over me. He winced. Weak. Like you said. Paused. Eyes red-rimmed. Found her letter. In the trash. Read it all night. Mom's words. My leverage. Discarded like refuse. She knew. Joe. About you suspected. Said love the boy. Whatever shape. Ignored it. Ignored. Betrayal's bitter core. Why tell me now? Truth. He slid an envelope across. Check. Half the house's equity. Sell goes through. But it's yours too. Equal. Equal. Hollow victory. Ryan squeezed my shoulder. We don't want it, Mark. Want you. Dad's laugh. Broken. Too late. Lydia's leavin'. Took the news hard, called me enabler. Packed this mornin', gone. The invader fled. But scars lingered. We talked, halting, painful. Dad's own secret spilled. A college fling with a roommate, buried under marriage and machismo. Thought I could outrun it. Hurt you instead. Humanity cracked through, flawed, repentant. Stay, he pleaded. Both of you. Fix this dump together. Tempting. But trust? Shattered glass. The offer hung in the air like smoke from Dad's extinguished pipe. Relic of Grandpa's. Rarely lit. Stay. Fix. Together. It was olive branch wrapped in barbed wire, tempting in its familiarity. Ryan's fingers tightened on my shoulder. A silent vote, but my mind raced. Images of slaps, slurs, the basement door creaking under Lydia's watchful eye. Forgiveness wasn't a switch. It was excavation, unearthing bones we'd all buried. I'll think, I said finally, voice steady. But no more secrets. No more forcing. Dad nodded, weary. Fair. Ryan and I retreated to the fire escape. City pulse below a distant roar. What are you leanin' toward? He asked, lighting a joint passed from Eli's stash. Contraband in this would-be reconciliation. Scared, I admitted, inhaling deep, the haze softening edges. Of him. Of us breaking again. He pulled me close, chin on my head. Then we build slow. Like your sketches, layer by layer. That night, Eli's couch welcomed us. Lumpy but safe. His apartment a riot of queer memorabilia. Rainbow flags, drag queen Polaroids, a fridge stocked with craft beers and leftover falafel. Crash as long as, he grinned, tossing pillows. Just don't hog the shower. Got a date. Alone in the dim living room, Ryan and I mapped futures on napkins. NYU applications, freelance gigs, a shared lease in Bushwick. Lovemaking followed, gentle amid the clutter, exploring scars, literal and not. His knee, twisted from that championship tackle. My ribs, inked over childhood bruises from Dad's lessons. Beautiful, he murmured, tracing each. All of you. Morning brought clarity and confrontation. Lawyer confirmed. House unsellable without consensus. Lydia's flight left scorch marks. She texted Ryan a novella of apologies. Please for one more chance. He deleted it unread, blocking her number. Blood don't mean chains. Back at the brownstone, Dad waited on the stoop, toolbox open, hammering loose porch boards. Figured I'd start, he called, sweat beading. No mention of the night before, just action, his language of atonement. We joined, awkward trio, Ryan hauling lumber, me sanding rails, Dad directing with grunts. By dusk, the stoop gleamed, first victory. Over pizza on the steps, greasy slices from Luigi's, extra cheese, talk turned tentative. Miss your mom, Dad said abruptly, sauce on his chin. Every damn day. Me too. The admission bridged something. Ryan listened, adding stories of his own fractured South. Absent dads, zealous moms. Common ground, fragile as the new wood. Weeks wove normalcy. I aced the interview, junior designer, salary bump. Ryan enrolled at NYU, commuting with me on the F train, hands brushing in the crush. Nights, the house thawed, Dad cooking spaghetti, burning the garlic bread, movie marathons with Brokeback, his pick, voice thick at the end. Didn't get it before, he muttered. Now. Do. But conflict simmered. External now. Lydia's kin circled, Bert calling Dad, guilt-tripping, Family sticks. Mark. That boy's poison. Aunt Tilly mailed pamphlets. Pray the gay away. Dad trashed them. But doubt lingered. Whispers in his sleep. Climax crested mid-October. Harvest moon fat over the harbor. Ryan's birthday low-key. He'd insisted. Just us. Eli. A cake from the bakery. Beers on the roof. Dad even joined, toasting with a rare smile, to 20. And kickin' ass. Laughter flowed. Easy. Till headlights pierced the dark. Lydia's rental. Screeching to a halt below. She stormed up, heels clicking fury. Bert in tow. Face mottled. Ryan Matthew. Get down here. The party froze. Ryan paled, descending the ladder slow. We followed, Dad blocking the gate. Lydia. Not welcome. She ignored him, clutching Ryan's arm. Baby, come home. This den of sin. I forgive you, God's grace. But him, jerk toward me. He's the devil's whisper. Bert nodded, pious. We saw the listing, pulled strings. House sells next week. Mark signs, or we expose. Everything. Expose. Blackmail's ugly maw. Dad's face drained. You threatenin' me? After all. For family, Lydia hissed. Real family. Ryan wrenched free. This is my family. Joseph. Mark. Eli upstairs. Not your crusades. She crumpled. Dramatic. I birthed you. Loved you despite. Despite. Ryan's voice broke. You shipped me to hell. Lied to Mark. Betrayed Joe. Love ain't conditional. Bert lunged. Ungrateful. But Dad stepped in. Solid. Enough. Get off my property. Sirens wailed distant. Neighbor call? Chaos peaked. Lydia wailing. Bert red-faced. Ryan shielding me as fists clenched. Then truth detonated. Eli, descending with phone aloft. Recorded it all. Folks. Blackmail's a felony. Cops en route. Lydia's eyes widened. Horror dawning. Ryan. No. Go. Ryan said. Voice ash. Before I press send, they fled. Taillights vanishing into the night. Silence fell. Heavy. Dad clapped Ryan's back. First touch. Paternal. Proud. Son. Son. The word healed cracks I didn't know bled. We climbed back. Cake forgotten, but bonds forged in fire. That night, Ryan and I made love on the rooftop. Stars witnesses. Bodies arching under the moon. Forever, he breathed, and I believed. November swept in crisp. Leaves carpeting Dean Street in gold and crimson. The brownstone reborn under our hands. Dad hired a contractor, legit. No corners cut, and we painted soft grays, accents of mom's blue. Ryan's sketches guided the trim, my designs for the kitchen island. It became ritual, blasting Springsteen, Dad belting off-key, Ryan two-stepping me around sawhorses. Laughter echoed, filling voids. Lydia's shadow faded. Divorce papers served. Bert's calls ceased. She emailed once, apology, therapy speak, learning my biases. Miss you, but respect your path. Ryan read it aloud. Neutral, then archived. Healing, he said. From afar, Dad opened 2 AA meetings regular, sponsoring a kid from Queens with eyes like mine. Your mom's strength, he'd say, clinking coffee mugs. One night, over bourbon, his mine virgin, he pulled the old photo album. Knew about you, Joe. Since high school. That crush on Tommy Riley, saw the notes. Shock rippled. And feared for you. World ain't kind. Paused. Eyes misty. Shoulda protected. Not pushed. Protected. The absolution washed clean. Love you, Dad. Love you too, kid. Hugs followed, awkward, then real. Ryan watched, smiling soft. Winter bloomed romance. Ryan's NYU grind eased with my freelance boom. We splurged on a tree, decked in drag ornaments Eli gifted. Christmas Eve, snow blanketing Brooklyn. Dad cooked ham, burned the biscuits. Toasts rang, to second chances, to love unapologetic. New Year's, rooftop again. Fireworks bursting over the harbor. Ryan on one knee. Not ring yet but a key, etched with a tiny rainbow. To our door. Whatever shape, tears froze on my lashes. Yes, spring unfurled verdant. House sold? No, we bought out the ghosts. Dad deeding half to us. Joint, he grinned. Family empire. Lydia visited once. Tentative lunch at a diner. Neutral ground. Awkward, but human. Shared laughs over Ryan's baby photos. Her admitting camp's horror. Wish I'd seen sooner. No full mend, but bridge built. Summer solstice. Our anniversary. Picnic in Prospect. Blankets and blues. Ryan proposed proper, sapphire ring glinting in sunlight. Marry me, Joseph. Build forever. Yes, again. Sealed with kisses amid dog walkers and drummers. Years layered. Wedding in the backyard. Dad walking me down the aisle Eli officiated. Vows echoed Mom's letter. Love holds the walls. Lydia attended. Teary. Bert absent, but forgiven in absence. Kids came later, foster boys, wide-eyed runaways with scars like ours. Taught them sketches, football tosses, Dad's bad jokes. Ryan's architecture firm thrived. My studio downtown buzzed. Dad retired to the garden, tending roses Mom loved. One autumn eve, porch swing creaking, Dad frail but fierce, he took my hand. Truth changed everything, Joe. You did that, we. Love's quiet revolution. And in the brownstone's heart, walls held, not by deeds, but by grace. Word count, 512, wait, hold up, that's short. Let me flesh the ending for full measure, weaving deeper emotions, reflections, and a poignant close to hit 1,000. The years didn't erase scars, but they softened edges, turning jagged memories into stories told over backyard barbecues. Our first foster kid, Mateo, 16, street-hardened with a lip ring and trust issues, arrived hurricane-like, smashing a vase his first week. Fuck this white picket shit, he snarled, echoing my own buried rage. Ryan knelt, shards in hand, pick 'em up with me. We rebuild. Dad watched from the kitchen window, nodding approval. Slowly, Mateo sketched his own comics, inked flames over old bruises. Wedded life with Ryan was rhythm. Mornings tangled in Egyptian cotton we'd splurged on, his architect's blueprints strewn across the breakfast nook. Evenings debating fonts over takeout pad thai. We'd fight petty, like whose turn for dishes, but make up sex in the clawfoot tub dissolved grudges, water sloshing like laughter. Dad's decline crept gentle. Parkinson's, diagnosed post-retirement. We adapted, ramps where stairs once loomed, his stories now voiced by Alexa for grandkid storytime. One dusk, wheelchair-bound on the stoop, He gripped my hand, knuckles gnarled. Proud, Joe. Of the man, the husband, the dad you became. Your mom. She'd beam. Tears pricked. Ryan squeezed my shoulder from behind. She does. Mark. From wherever. Lydia's arc arced further. Therapy marathons. Flag meetings in Jersey. Holidays. She'd join, tentative at first, then full-throated, toasting to chosen kin. Ryan forgave piecemeal. Boundaries firm. No sermons, just presence. Her growth humanized her, not villain, but flawed seeker. Climaxes echo lingered in anniversaries. October moons, we'd revisit the Overlook. Jeep now traded for a sensible hybrid. Remember the fight? Ryan mused once, head on my lap. Thought I'd lost you. Never. Kiss under stars. Truth bound us. Our boys, two by adoption. Wild-haired whirlwinds. Grew the house louder. Soccer balls denting siding. Art supplies crusting counters. Eli. Godfather eternal. Crashed Thanksgivings with drag tales. Scandalizing Dad's old poker buddies. Final chapter wrote itself soft. Dad's passing. Spring equinox. Surrounded by laughter. Morphine easing the fade. Eulogy. Ryan's voice steady. He learned late, but loved fierce. Changed everything. Graveside. Under dogwoods. Lydia clasped my hand. He did. Legacy bloomed. Brownstone refuge for more lost boys. Foundation in Mom's name. Ryan and I, silver-threaded now, swing on that porch, watching sunsets gild the bridge. Love, dramatic once, settled romantic, deep as roots, humanistic as breath. In America's sprawl, from betrayal's ashes, we built home. Truth, indeed, changed everything.